Good evening, everyone. I invite all of you to take your seats. I hope you enjoyed the brand new rollout of recruitment videos that we started recently. And I hope you may have recognized some of your own students. They are real students, and they are from your schools, and they've not scripted. And we enjoyed having fun putting those videos together to talk about their experiences at the College of DuPage. My name is Earl Dowling. I'm going to be introduced to you later, but right now, to get us started, I'd like to invite the president of the College of DuPage, Dr. Robert Breuder, to the podium for the official welcome.
Thank you, Earl, and permit me to also welcome you to College of DuPage and to our new Student Services Center. Delighted to see so many of you here tonight and spend a few minutes with us before we go over and have an opportunity to partake in another facility, which is the Culinary and Hospitality Center, and you'll have a chance to see the Inn at Water's Edge and eat in Waterleaf Restaurant. You've probably read a little bit about it and heard of it. And so we'll look forward to spending a little portion of our time with you there tonight. Delighted that you should come today and spend some moments with us. You know, about 2 months ago, time seems to go so quickly, we dedicated the Homeland Security Education Center. And when I stood before people, I said, this has to be the most spectacular building and the most important building we ever built. And I meant it. I see there's a priest in the audience tonight, brother, and I can't lie. So I truly did mean that. And then weeks later, seemingly, I said exactly the same thing when we were dedicating the Culinary and Hospitality Center. And I meant it. And so here I stand tonight saying to you, I can't think of a building that's more important, more consequential to the College of DuPage than this new Student Services Center. And I really mean it. And I do really mean it. The other two buildings are enormously consequential to us, of incredible importance to our student body. But this building offers a larger array of students the opportunity to experience the College of DuPage. Homeland Security is about public service and protecting the public, if you will. Culinary and Hospitality is focused on the culinary and hospitality industry, so it has a defined population of people. But this building offers opportunity for service to all of our students. And you know, we are rather big here at the College of DuPage. We say with pride that we're the second largest provider of higher education in the state of Illinois, and we are by far. But with that large size, with that bigness comes challenges, and this building helps us deal with that, since we're very much interested in recruiting students to our institution, to retaining them once they come here, and to better serving them through the concept of customer service. And that's what we're able to do in this one-stop center, where you and I know, who are in education, that if you don't make it easy for young people to access you, they can find out a million reasons for not doing the deal and going in a different direction. Well, this is the place. They can come in the front door through admissions. We can service them. We can advise them. We can counsel them. We can structure their financial aid. We can give them the assistance they need to get them in and get them processed, to have a great learning experience. And then sometime later, after their agenda has been met, and they all come with a different agenda, once they meet that, they leave and they go on either into the workforce or they go on to higher education. So this is the epicenter. This is the welcoming point. This is the point of origin where we can do a better job at servicing our students, not only today, but tomorrow. One moment before I introduce the chairman for you. This building, culinary, Homeland Security, and the more than $200 million about to start this coming spring is a result of you and others who live in our district. Last November, we went out and we asked the people who support us and created us over 40 years ago to approve a capital referendum for $168 million. That's a lot of money. We asked for it at a time when the economy wasn't at its most strongest point in time. You supported it. It was the second largest capital referendum approved in the United States. It demonstrated to us the support we have from you and others who live in the district and the importance that you assign to education. We happen to think, those of us who have put our life's work in community colleges, that this is where the action is. This is where people get served, whether or not you've been challenged in high school or you have some other challenge in your life, or whether you have an SAT of 36, whether you're Mensa or whether or not you're like me in high school, kind of like drifted away and you had to have somebody grab you by the throat and say you got to get it together. Community colleges are the place. That's why we enroll 60% of the higher education population in the country. That's why when the economy started to slip into fall, where did we turn our attention? We turned it to the community college in our backyard. And out of every gray event, something good happens. When the economy began to fall away, more and more people said, we've got to take a look at alternatives. And lo and behold, what sits in the backyard? College of DuPage, an incredible center of excellence, which you helped us create. And we're able now to be able to serve the people of this district, and many of them coming out of the school districts which service us. And a final thank you to the superintendents, to our colleagues in education at the K through 12 level for working with us, for sending us such fine students. We hope to continue to develop that relationship, to build on it, to be able to do right by those that you send our way. If by chance we slip on occasion, let us know. We'll circle back. We'll try to do the job that we didn't do the first time, but we're confident that we're pretty good at what we do and that we will take care of your young people and others and be able to give them those opportunities in life that we all seek. So again, welcome. Look forward to being with you a little bit later when I get to thank some other people for the contributions they made to this building. In the meantime, the chairman of the board, David Carlin. David?
Thank you, Dr. Breuder. Thank you for being here this evening. It's my pleasure to introduce the members of the Board of Trustees who are here with us this evening. Kim Savage, Nancy Svoboda. It's my understanding Diane McGuire is here also. I don't see her. Joe Wozniak. And we have a few that weren't able to join us. Board Secretary Allison O'Donnell, Vice Chairman Aaron Burt, and also Student Trustee Lydia Witten. Also joining us today are former Board Chairman Kathie Wessel, in the back of the room. Thank you for being here, Kathie. And former Chairman Mike McKinnon over in the back of the room on that side. Clap for both of you. Kathie and Mike and I remember some discussions at the board table about this building, and to say that there were some spirited discussions about it, I think would be an understatement. If at a time everybody recognized the importance of having a building like this where we could have a one-stop shop for student services and also a front door to the college. But at a time there was some discussion. Folks thought that having a building like this would have come at the cost of renovations that were being considered for the Berg Instructional Center. And the day of the board meeting when the board actually approved of this building, this concept, I think it was called a win-win by the constituency leaders. And Chairman McKinnon did have the idea to do this by foregoing some of the projects that we were talking about on the West Campus and instead tearing down the Quonset hut. So I just wanted to recognize Chairman McKinnon for the idea to pull the building together, and former Chairman Wessel also for supporting it, because it is a wonderful building for the college, for the community. And when I came onto the board 4.5 years ago, I think it's safe to say there was nooks and crannies here and there where students would congregate, but there wasn't a home, there wasn't a front door. And you walk through this building now any time of day, you see constituents of all kinds, whether it's adjunct faculty members, full-time faculty, people from the community, or our students. And it's a wonderful testament, I think, to people coming together and working together for the benefit of the college. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce a couple of our guest speakers who are here this evening. And I would be remiss, though, before I do that, to thank Dr. Breuder and his team for implementing the vision of the college and the various constituent leaders that contributed to this building. Dr. Kathie Pierce is Superintendent of Fenton High School, District 100. She is completing her 29th year at Fenton High School, where she has served in a variety of positions. She was principal for 7 years and is now in her 5th year as superintendent. Dr. Pierce and her staff have partnered with COD on a number of occasions to enhance academic offerings to her students. Mr. Henry Gordon is a College of DuPage honor student. Before coming to COD, Mr. Gordon graduated from Downers Grove South High School. He was a member of the high school choir, jazz band, and orchestra. He was a member of the All-State Honors Choir in 2010. He played football the first 3 years of high school. Mr. Gordon was senior patrol leader for his troop and the head of staff for the National Youth Leadership Training Program for the Scouts. His service and work culminated in achieving Eagle Scout. He is a recipient of a Naperville Rotary Scholarship. At COD, Mr. Gordon is an honor student and tutor in the Math Tutoring Center. He maintains a GPA of 3.667. The speakers will speak in the order in which they were introduced. Dr. Pierce. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm happy to be here tonight to share in all the exciting things that are happening at the College of DuPage. Before I begin, I need to tell you I have some good news and some bad news. And I'll start with the bad news. The bad news is that I was asked to speak for 5 to 10 minutes. The good news is I'm going to err on the side of the 5-minute mark if I use these notes to keep me on task, so please bear with me. The other thing I think I need to tell you is by the end of my speech, you're going to say, boy, Kathie said the same exact things that the president and the chairman said, but they did it in 3 sentences, and she took 5 minutes. I'll say that's just a typical high school superintendent. We have a lot to say, even if people aren't listening, so I apologize in advance. But I want to begin by thanking the College of DuPage for hosting our area superintendents and boards of education. This experience allows us to see firsthand the wonderful growth that's occurring here on campus. If you were able to go on the tour, I'm sure you were as impressed as I was by the wonderful facility that we just saw tonight. The College of DuPage has nicknamed the SSC their living room. And like any living room, when you walk into it, we all have had that feeling where we kind of walk into a very warm, inviting living room, and that's the one that we want to stay in versus walking into a cold, sterile one. When you're in a sterile room, you never quite feel comfortable. You don't want to hang around. You just want to leave as soon as you can. That comfortable living room, on the other hand, invites you to hang around, to stay a while, and to see what the rest of the place has to offer. The Student Service Center of College of DuPage welcomes you into their doors and asks you to spend some time to get to know them. Many of us have been involved in high schools for a long time, so we're very familiar with the importance of students making a successful transition from middle school to high school. But what some of us might not have thought about is that how important a successful transition would be for a high school graduate when they enter into a new college environment. Let's face it, this is where life really begins. Students select which college they're going to attend, and they leave and go elsewhere if they don't feel the school's the right fit. There's also a potential that a student will just drop out and stop attending school altogether. A welcoming environment is vital in this transition from high school to college. As a matter of fact, Dr. Brian Hark discussed this very issue in the article, High School to College Transitions and the Freshman Myth. The idea behind the freshman myth deals with the fact that high school graduates are very optimistic and possibly overconfident in their ability to manage the challenges they encounter in college. Once in a college setting, however, if the student's academic, social, and emotional needs are not being met, they may become frustrated and leave, or worse, fail that critical first semester. In addition, it's been reported that for students who leave college, the majority of them do so in the first 6 weeks. So like it or not, their first impression really makes a difference for students. As the largest single-campus college system outside of the state of California, College DuPage has no easy task ahead of them when it comes to welcoming students to their campus. COD has more than 27,000 students attending each term, with approximately 25% of them being newly high school graduates. The Student Services Center stands as their front door and has the ability to engage new students early. It's apparent that a lot of time and effort went into the planning and the design of the Student Service Center. The College of DuPage has constructed a building whose sole purpose is to assist students and help orientate them to the college environment. I'm sure many of us remember that overwhelming feeling of stepping onto a college campus for the very first time. We often had to go from building to find a way for our needs to be met as first-time students. COD has made this process easy. The consolidation of the Student Service Center creates a hub for admissions, registration, financial aid, as well as testing services, and they even have a Starbucks. Amazing. A student can get admitted, receive counseling and advising, register for classes, and go to the Career Resource Center, all in the same building. No more running around. The college has taken the confusion out of the process. Once you are enrolled, all you have to do is walk right on over to student activities, and you can find a club or an activity to get involved in. And all of this in a welcoming environment. The college has built a physical space to help ease that transition for newly enrolled students, regardless if they are high school graduates seeking an associate's degree, students planning on transferring to a four-year college, an individual seeking to sharpen their job skills, or simply someone who's interested in learning about a specific topic. The Student Service Center has student gathering places like the open and airy atrium, the coffee shop, the first floor student activities areas, all of which appear inviting and welcoming. As a matter of fact, if you start seeing me here on Wednesdays, it's because of that popcorn machine I saw over there. I certainly would not be able to resist that if I was a student. I did hear that my guide said she's limited to 2 bags. So they do limit. Students attending college today have very different experiences than we did. Gathering places like the ones we toured today are essential. Today's students work in groups, they collaborate on projects, and they constantly share ideas. We need to provide that kind of environment for those things to occur. As administrators and board members, we all understand the importance of engaging students early and often. First impressions matter. And what a great first impression the Student Services Center has made on us today. Congratulations to the College of DuPage. Thank you not only for designing such a beautiful building for our students, but also thank you for providing an event like this tonight to educate the community on all that's new at COD. As we leave here this evening, I think we'll all have a lot to share as we return back to our individual districts. Thank you and congratulations to the College of DuPage.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Henry Gordon, or Hank. I can never quite decide what I'm going by. It usually depends on how much official paperwork is involved. But, I had this nice little note card already made up with all the different stuff I was going to tell you about myself, but that was already taken care of for me, which is always nice. But yeah, I graduated from Dowling South in 2010. And when I was getting ready to leave there, yeah, I had a lot going for me. High ACT score, I was an honor student, Eagle Scout, I had all this stuff working towards me, and people would come up to me and say, "Oh, Hank, where are you going to school this fall?" And when I gave them a response of going, "Oh, I'm going to the College of DuPage." "You're going to the College of DuPage?" People were stunned at that fact. Because for some reason, and I don't think this is my high school alone, there is this stigma against community colleges. People make jokes. They say, "Oh, it's the, COD is the College of Dreams," or other things like that. And what I don't understand is why this stigma exists against community colleges. And that's what I really want to talk about tonight. First off, whenever I'm doing anything, I like to go to a dictionary and kind of define key terms. I'm a math guy. I like to know what I'm dealing with. I looked up stigma, and stigma says, a mark of disgrace or infamy, as on one's reputation. Okay? I think that stigma comes from a few different things. People hear community college, and they say, "Oh, you didn't have the money to go to a real school, huh?" Or, another one I hear a lot, it's like, "Oh, you don't actually have a plan for your life, huh? Just gonna go spend some time at the community college." Or, the worst one, "You're not smart enough for a real school." Right after I graduated, I was at a graduation party for a friend of mine, and we're sitting around eating whatever food was there. Pretty tasty stuff, if I remember. And he kind of looks at me and kind of with this bittersweet chuckle says, "Over the next 4 years, I'm going to work real hard, and I'm going to walk away." He was going down to U of I for engineering, I'm going to walk away with this nice-looking diploma and a six-figure debt. 6 figures. Figure, U of I tuition right now is going about just over $30,000 a year between tuition and room and board and all their fees. $30,000 a year. Over 4 years, $120,000 for a nice little piece of paper. And he was joking, saying, oh, yeah, I'm going to be all lucky to have this paid off before I'm 30-something. And then I can start working for myself. And $30,000 a year for going down to U of I, it just didn't make sense to me. Just base tuition here at COD. Base tuition, you're looking at spending just under $4,000 a year. I mean, just looking at those numbers alone is huge, especially in today's economy when, it's not just, the lower class that can't afford to go to big school. It's the middle class or maybe even upper class that are thinking, $120,000 on 4 years of school? I can't do that. I don't want to do that. And when I applied here to College of DuPage, I also applied for scholarships, and I managed to get the Napier Rotary Club scholarship, which looked at my high school performance and as well as all my extracurricular activities. And I was awarded that off of that, and I have never been so grateful. Actually, there's a quote in the COD Foundation brochure, and this is actually, real quick. They didn't fabricate this at all. When I got that phone call telling me that I'd received, a scholarship based off of the hard work that I put through in high school, I jumped around like a little kid on Christmas. And you can call my mother, and she'll attest to that fact. But it meant that, when I'm done here at COD in 2 years, whether I decide I'm looking to transfer for computer science or engineering to different schools, I'm going to leave here after 2 years debt-free. Debt-free. $0 hanging over my head. My friend down at U of I, he's already got $60,000 hanging over his head, thinking, well, when I get out of school, I got to start paying this off. I know I was trying to look up some statistics online about student loans and how much that they affect people, and I got two-thirds of people graduate college. This is after they've received scholarships, after they've received federal assistance money and whatnot. Over two-thirds of people walk away with tens of thousands of dollars of debt after 4 years of college. And by going to COD, I immediately, regardless of what happens the 2 years after I'm here, I immediately cut that number in half because I'm walking out of here debt-free. And I'm walking out of here debt-free because I'm a community college student. There's a stigma against that. Say it's a mark of infamy or shame on my reputation. My best friend, Sean, he goes to school up at University of Milwaukee, and he kind of looks down on College of DuPage students. I mean, not on me in particular. He knows that I've got a plan for my life. But he feels like, most people, they come here, they're just kind of flopping around. They don't really know what to do with themselves. They don't have a direction. They don't have, a real driving force behind what they're doing. It's just COD. It's not that big a deal for them, right? But having a lack of a plan or direction for your life, guess what? That's okay. And that is not a community college thing. I looked up, the University of Oregon put out some stuff on this, and they said that on average, their students, they change majors 3 times. 3 times they decide, well, the plan I thought I had wasn't actually what I wanted to do. I got into accounting and realized I hate math. 3 times they're deciding this isn't what I want to do for the rest of my life. Okay? But you do that at a 4-year school, classes towards those majors all of a sudden count for nothing. You have to go back and retake all these classes, and as we looked at the tuition, that kills you. It kills you. Here at College of DuPage, if I decide to change my major, even if I take a 180 and decide, I'm going to go be an art student, guess what? The financially, I haven't set myself back tens of thousands of dollars as changing majors would do at a 4-year university. Deciding, when you change your major and decide, this is what I want to do, no matter what you pick, whether it be engineering, whether it be music, COD has such a strong transfer history with other schools. I know when I was looking at IIT actually puts out a specific transfer guide saying, hey, you know what, you're going to College of DuPage? That's great. We love it. Take these classes. You can come in right on time. No problem. No problem. And because I'm at College of DuPage right now, I have all these options. I have all these options because I'm a community college student. There's a stigma against that. It's a mark of infamy or shame on my reputation. Last spring, I was dating this girl. She went to Indiana University. Real smart girl. She did real well in high school. She was a business major at Indiana University. And I don't know if any of you know of the Kelley School of Business. Nice, high, prestigious business school as far as they go at Indiana. And she was going there. And she was going there, real good student, real high grades in high school, and a work ethic like none would believe. All right, let me tell you, I got blown off for homework so many times, I don't even care to count. I actually drove the 6 hours all the way down to Bloomington with traffic and all, and went down and visited her, and she said, okay, you have to leave at 2 o'clock on Sunday. It's like, okay. And 2 o'clock rolls around, sure enough, boom, as soon as that clock hits it, you get your bags, you need to go to the car. But can I just say goodbye? No, get your bags, go to the car. And I mean, just work ethic like you would not believe. So dedicated. And she walked into Indiana University and she failed Calc 1 her freshman year, her first semester as a freshman. Failed it. And it was not because of her work ethic. All right? She went to take it again in the spring. She was struggling but keeping afloat and ended up having to drop it because she got sick and missed a week of classes. It wasn't because of her work ethic. It wasn't because she wasn't smart enough. It's because learning stuff in a lecture hall of 200 people with a professor who doesn't know your name, that's rough stuff. That's rough stuff. I have never had, here at College of DuPage, I haven't had a math class with more than 25 people in it. And you know what? When your class is that small, your professor knows your name. Your professor knows how you did on your last quiz. Your professor knows what you're struggling with, and he's going to ask you about it. That's effective learning. Trying to absorb it in a lecture hall, maybe you don't even get a professor for your class. Maybe you get stuck with a TA who's like, can I go do my graduate research yet? I mean the effectiveness of the education here is unparalleled compared to four-year universities. And just one last thing about the education here. I have a friend that was in UIC engineering. He's a couple years older than me. And I was in Calc 2 last spring, and we were talking about what I was covering in the class. And I was telling him some of the concepts, and he was stunned. He was stunned at some of the concepts we were learning because they were stuff that he wasn't exposed to until a junior or senior level physics or engineering class. Stunned. COD does not provide second-rate education. It provides education in a more effective environment and oftentimes goes beyond what four-year universities are able to cover. And I get access to that education because I'm a community college student. There's a stigma against that. It's a mark of infamy or shame on my reputation. But why is it a stigma? Why is it a stigma? Why can I get up here and say that I'm leaving here debt-free? And that's because of that stigma. I've set up options for myself in the future. Yet there's this stigma. I've been given a more effective education, and yet there is this stigma against me as a community college student. I'm here to tell you, it's just not true. It's just not true. But as far as this stigma goes against community college students, there's not a whole lot I can do about it. Sure, I can go and I can tell every single person that I run into on the street, hey, College of DuPage, it's a great place. I can go to my church and tell all the high school students there, saying, hey, really look into College of DuPage. They have a lot of great opportunities there. But my footprint is so small. So small. I mean, to start changing this, it's got to start in the high schools. It's got to start in the high schools, and the CEOs of those high schools, people who are responsible for their everyday operation, are all of you right here. That's where that change needs to start. Whether it be through whatever message you put out, but I mean that's where it starts. If we can get students to realize what an opportunity is here at COD, and we can get rid of this stigma, I think it will really help us, just on an educational, as an education system as a whole. It's huge. It's huge. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Pierce, and thank you, Hank, for your comments and for being here today. We have two additional speakers, but before we move on to Earl Dowling, who's Associate Vice President of Enrollment Management, and Dr. Breuder for close, I did want to recognize one person here with us today. Wendy Breuder is in the first row, and I think Dr. Breuder would agree. She's, like my wife, is my better half. You mind if I say she's your better half? So thank you for being here, Wendy. But Earl, please.
I'd like to talk to the staff person that had me follow Dr. Pierce and Hank for their presentations. I can now safely say that I'll take paragraph 1 and 2 from the President, and I'll take paragraph 7 and 8 and 9 from Dr. Pierce, and Hank, you get the rest. But, now listening to one of our students and having the opportunity to see this facility, you now know why I say I have the best job on this campus. I get to bring individuals like Hank, and there are many of them sitting in our classrooms on this campus, to College of DuPage, helping them make the transition from the high school, the workforce, the military, wherever they are, to this setting. But in spite of you taking all my remarks, Dr. Pierce, people who know me well know that I'm not a loss for words. So I'm going to just say a few things about what it's like to be the occupant of this magnificent Student Services Center. I hope during your visit today that you had that you saw what I see every day. You see, I park over near the street. It's my only exercise walking from the street to this campus. And on my way, I walk past beautiful landscaping, new trees, new shrubbery, new park benches. I walk through the front door of the College of DuPage. I enter the living room. I watch our students plug in laptops, iPads, iPods, whatever they have. I watch them grab a cup of coffee and settle in. I see college. This is college. This is where it all begins. This is where their journey begins. This is where they expand their friendships beyond the high school, beyond the community. This is where they begin their journey. This is college. This is where success begins. In addition to seeing college every morning when I come in, I also see commitment. There is a laser-like focus on the part of the campus leadership, the faculty leadership, reaffirmed by our staff who work in this building, by the facilities crew, the police department, on your graduates, our students. It is here we took a stand to focus on student experience, on enhancing those experiences and focusing on customer service. We did it because it was the right thing to do, and it was the right time to do it. We did it so that we engage our students early and often, a critical measure of success, so that one day graduates like Hank will take their rightful place in our community, one of our success stories, so that our students do not go from office to office to office to office seeking information about how to enroll, how to register, how to schedule, how to pay my fees, but instead will make one stop at our campus central, where 80%, at least 80% of the students' questions will be answered immediately while they're standing in front of one of our staff. So that students can gather. They can gather in the living room. They can gather in the coffee shop. They can gather downstairs in student activities. And for our returning veterans, to help them ease the transitions, they gather upstairs in the Veterans Lounge. Because of this so that focus on enhanced student experiences, this building, the Student Services Center, offers a warm, welcoming place so important to our students' academic and social success. Dr. Breuder, trustees, for those of us who get to practice our craft, and we get to do it in this magnificent facility, we thank you very much.
On the Ides of March of next year, I begin my 31st year as a president of one of 3 colleges. If I've learned one thing, that is, don't stand between your guests and dinner. So we'll try to move this along. One observation, Kathie and Henry, I don't know that you're on our payroll, but you ought to be. So we'll have contracts waiting for both of you afterwards, and that you can be out there and be great ambassadors for the College of DuPage. You heard a lot of great things about community colleges in general and COD in particular, and I could spend a long time telling you about all the experiences that I had. Suffice to say that my 2 daughters, when they graduated from high school and they flirted with where they were going to go to pursue a college education, they didn't have a choice. They went then to the community college that I was president of, and I can tell you it never disadvantaged either one of them, and today they are accomplished people in their disciplined fields, and it began with a community college. It's just tragic that what's ever in your backyard sometimes never seems to be as good as what's in somebody else's backyard. It's sort of like the Nordstroms. It can't be as good in Oak Brook as it is in downtown Chicago, when in fact it's every bit as good, if in some cases not better, and community colleges, they offer that. I can't tell you the number of times that I've been with students who were entertaining coming to College of DuPage, and I say, when you talk about us back at your high school, how do you answer when somebody says, where are you going to college? And invariably they do this, College of DuPage. And I said, what is it about that? Well, it has that stigma that Henry talks about. And yet when they're here for a semester, or if by chance they went away initially and they cycle back to us, and then I ask them, there's no hand over the face. It is College of DuPage with great pride and great intensity. And they will often tell us the quality of education here is better than where they reverse transferred back from. You may not know is that we take 25% of all the high school graduates in a given year. 12 months later, the percentage runs up close to 50%. I wish the other 25% hadn't run off only to come back again and just come to us in the first place. So now it's my privilege to bring up the trustees here and to unveil the dedication of our plaque. I would then recognize 2 or 3 other people and direct you to the Inner Water's Edge and Waterleaf Restaurant. David?
Chairman McKinnon and also Chairman Wessel, why don't you join us, if you're willing.
Mike should do it. I did the one at Culinary Center, so he gets to do this one.
So permit me to acknowledge the people who really brought all of this together. It starts in the minds and the hearts and the souls of people who work here, who come up with an idea, who put that idea on paper, and eventually we turn that over to an architectural house who take what's in our heart and what's in our head and converts it over to specifications and drawings and bidding documents, and ultimately goes ahead and designs the building. So the architectural firm involved in this project is Lobel, Schlossman, and Hackle. Here representing the firm is Craig Smith, Michael Wiener, and Claire Adazone. Are you all here? I don't see George, but he normally is with us, George Schober from V3 Engineering, and so we thank them for their excellent work on the engineering portion of the building. I don't know if there's somebody here from KJWW. That's our engineering firm, but they were involved in that dimension of the work. I don't see Randy Michalski, the fellow that when you cut his artery, blood doesn't come out, chlorophyll does. He's with landscaping people, and he's the person who makes sure that the building looks beautiful on the outside so that we began to create the impression on the inside. And of course, somebody has to build it, and we've had a great relationship and we'll continue to have one with Mortensen Construction. And here tonight is Greg Verna, Cheryl Van Ann, Nathan Welch, and Kevin Barrett. I think all 4 of you are here, hopefully. There you go. And they would all tell you that as we go through that process, you have a lot of people involved. You've got the in-house folks who started it with the idea, but then you've got your own team of people in-house who work with the architect and the CM and the engineers and the V3s and the landscaping. Here tonight, Steve Lane and John Wondolowski, the 2 people who run the project for us on our side of the table. So that said, this convenes, or this I should say, we end the session here today, and we get a chance to go over and see another spectacular facility. This time we get a chance to sit down, and we get a chance to be around a table, kibitz with one another, have something good to eat, that I can promise you. And I'm sure there's something there to drink that might be a favor to you. And hopefully at the end of the evening, you'll continue to feel warm about the College of DuPage. And if you're on the outside portion of our family, continue to send students our way. We pledge to you that we will do a great job for them. And if by chance, as I mentioned before, we don't, call it to our attention. We'll make it right. Thanks very much for coming here tonight, and we'll look forward to seeing you at Waterleaf Restaurant. Thank you.